Welcome to my Burning Crusade Primal farming guide, where I'm going to cover the different things I'm killing in the open world, secret windows where we can buy motes, and of course professions to farm motes a lot quicker. All of these things has been left in a timeline, so you can easily skip to whatever you're looking for. Alright, so first I'm gonna show you a quick map of Outland, so you can see in which zones you can farm the different primals, and then I will of course be going into more detail and show you the exact location in each individual zone. Starting with Primal Mana, or well, mode of mana farming in Netherstorm. We can slay the Mana Seekers and Mage Slayers. The great thing about this location is that at the tower at the back, there will be quests you can pick up. So if it's going to be the first time you're heading here, then I would definitely pick up the quest to get some additional gold. Another solution is to swap to the western part of the zone. Close to the edge, you will find Warp Elementals, Phase Hunters and Nether Race, all of them having a chance to drop in between 1 to 2 mode of mana. In case there isn't going to be much competition at the eastern part of the zone, or well, at the first spot I did show you in the video, then I would highly recommend you to be farming there. Another solution is just to swap to Shadowmoon Valley, but you will need flying for this to be efficient, simply because there will be many creatures you can't reach without flying mount. Sadly, there isn't really going to be any other good mode of mana farms, besides having a profession like engineering, and I will cover this later in the video. Alright, moving on to the next primal, which is fire. You can slay these elementals in Blade Edge Mountains, and you can start this efficiently at around level 65. This is definitely one of my favorite farming locations until I unlock my flying mount, but be aware you shouldn't be killing the Scorch Imps, as they have no chance to drop mode of fire. At least it seems like they won't, as I've killed more than 50 of these. Those of you with flying mount could instead head to the southwestern part of Blade Edge Mountains. Down here there usually won't be as many people farming, but then again there also won't be as many things we can slay. Those of you who has either not purchased a flying mount yet, or might not be level 70, could instead head to the middle of Shadowmoon Valley. Here we gotta slay these enraged fire spirits, but be aware they do share spawn with enraged earth spirits, so sometimes you'll need to slay those in order for a new fire spirit to spawn. And by the way, the green stuff causes a lot of fire damage. What I like a lot about farming mode of fire is that there are so many different locations you can head to. For example, up here at the northern part of Hellfire, requiring a flying mount to reach this destination, or another location that requires flying mount, the top of Nagrand. The biggest downside with this area is that it's close to Shattered City, so many people can easily go here the moment they would like to farm gold. But the great thing is that the moment there's too much competition, we can swap to one of the other nearby areas, which brings us on to the next primal, Primal Air. Those of you skipping to this section in the video should know that you will need a flying mount to get to the northern part of Nagrand. Besides farming mode of air, then these creatures has a chance to drop level 70 rares and epics, and in the beginning of Burning Crusade they're going to be pretty expensive. What about those of you without a flying mount? Well, don't worry, I got you covered. Nagrand is filled with many different air elementals which can be farmed in the white marked area. The red marks I've made are indicating where they shouldn't really be spawning. At least I haven't found anyone there myself. Those of you being level 70 will probably farm mode of air a lot easier by heading to Shadowmoon Valley. At least at the southern part of the zone where these creatures are stacked together, and if there's too much competition, well then you can head to the northern part of the zone where you can farm at these two marks. Else you could level up engineering for the Mote Extractor. Moving on to the next primal, which is Primal Water. What I like about Primal Water, or well, mode of water farming, is that there will be so many different areas, and you could honestly level like this in Outland from level 60 to 70. What we could for example be doing at level 60 is to head to Sankamarsh and slay these bloodthirsty marsh fangs. If there's too many people doing the exact same, well then you could always jump into the lagoon and start slaying eels. Those can also be found in some of the other lakes. At level 64, you could then head to Nagrand and start farming at this area. Not only will they be close to the shore, but you can find them in the water as well. If you don't want to have to pay attention to a breath bar or constantly swimming around, then you could swap to the middle of the zone instead. Here we will of course be finding some of these in the water, but the great thing is that you can just run around without having to pay attention to your breath bar. The last low level location can be found close to Throne of the Elements, but I would honestly recommend you to buy some Elixir of Water Breathing. These are just amazing for whenever you're farming the mode of water. Those of you with flying unlocks two other things you can do. We can head to the northern part of Nagrand, where we can farm those at this area. or you could head to Terracotta Forest. Up here, you'll definitely also need a flying mount, else it's basically going to be impossible to get up there. And here you will definitely need an elixir of water breathing, as a lot of them are spawning under the water. Moving on to the next one, which is Primal Shadows. Those we can start farming the moment we step through the Dark Portal and enter Hellfire. This can be done at level 58, and you can level like this up to around level 64. And if there's too many people here, well then don't worry, you can move a bit to the west and continue your farm. But be aware, it is a questing area, so there might be a lot of competition. Else, you can start farming in the Grand, close to Oshigon, or well, all around this big stone, there will be many Void Walkers, and they're dropping in between 1 to 2 Mote of Shadows. My last farming spot takes place in Netherstorm. The great thing about farming Mote of Shadows is that you don't need any flying mount, but sadly there isn't too many locations where you can farm these. Those of you who would like to farm Primal live should head to Sankamarsh. There will be 3 different locations where you can farm these efficiently. The first location can be started at around level 60, then we can swap here at around level 62 and stay there all the way up to 67. This is just in case you would like to farm a lot of gold as you're leveling up, and if there ends up being a lot of competition, well then you can always move a bit more to the west. Another solution is to swap zone to Terracotta Forest. Here there will be these infected root walkers, and those you can slay for Mote of Life. But sadly, there won't be any high level locations or areas you can go to with flying mount. However, there is another solution, and I'll cover this in just a moment. First, let me cover the Primal Earth. My favorite zone is Nagrand, as there will be 6 different locations, but before you start slaying these, then make sure to hit the Throne of the Elements, as there will be different quests telling you to slay these at the same time. Those of you being higher levels could instead head to the middle of Shadowmoon Valley and slay the Enraged Earth Spirit. These are at the same location where we're farming Primal Fire, so if you would like to farm those, well then you can farm 2 different primals at the exact same time. I would recommend you to level up mining if you wish to make a lot of gold and farm Mote of Earth and Mote of Fire at the same time. Whenever you're mining a deposit, or well a fell iron deposit, there's a 10% chance you will be getting these motes. It can also happen from the corium veins. What about leveling up herbalism? It's not a bad decision if you wish to farm a lot of Mote of Life. There's a chance that you will be getting those whenever you're looting the different herbs in Outland. But where and how should we be farming herbs and ores? Well, luckily I've covered my different routes and other strategies in other videos, such as my herbalism and my mining guide, and those can be found in the description. Else you could level up fishing. There will be different pools where there's a chance that you will be getting those Mote of Water, and not to forget the daily fishing quest picked up outside Shattered City, the reward being a bag of fishing treasures, and in there can be many things, such as motes and different potions. What I like about engineering is that we can craft the Mote Extractor, and with this you can extract many different motes from gas clouds found all over Outland. I've made a video where I go into detail about my farming routes and what you need to do in order to obtain the schematics to craft the Mote Extractor. This can be found in the description. Finally, it's time for me to cover the vendors selling motes, the first located in Stormspire in Netherstorm. But remember, there is a long recharge time and there will definitely be people trying to camp these. Or you could head to Shadow Labyrinth, or well outside the dungeon you can find this vendor in Terracotta Forest. Soon I'll publish other useful Burning Crusade gold making strategies, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified. On my channel you can find many other useful videos I would highly recommend you to check out. But nonetheless, then I would like to say thanks for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.